From Millersville, Tennessee to Washington, D.C. Tonight, new questions about a controversial former police chief. Thanks for joining us at 6, everyone. I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Carrie Sharp. Now, you probably remember Sean Taylor, the former Millersville assistant police chief known for his conspiratorial podcast. Now Taylor claims he is working with the Trump administration, including a controversial figure enmeshed in his own controversy.
News Channel 5's chief investigative reporter Phil Williams has been poring over more of Taylor's videos. Phil.
That's right, and these are words from Sean Taylor's own mouth. In the videos, he describes himself as making frequent trips to D.C. to try to expose campaign finance fraud and mortgage fraud that he thinks he has uncovered. Some of it, he claims, by people in positions of power.
Hey, everybody, it's retired Assistant Chief Sean Taylor. I hope y'all are staying warm. It's a little chilly here.
It's a video that recently went viral, drawing thousands of likes and comments on just one Facebook post.
Team, we've already identified trillions in cash that's being moved through the mortgages. We've identified billions that's going through healthcare illegally. We've identified human trafficking rings.
And just like he did when he was the assistant police chief in tiny Millersville, Tennessee, Sean Taylor claimed to have uncovered conspiracies that everyone else has missed.
We're ready, President Trump. We're asking you to help us and make us your presidential point team to go after these bastards.
The reactions on Facebook were enthusiastic. President Trump, sir, please consider hiring these patriots. Yes, Mr. President Trump, please. Yes, do it.
I've already done a couple of videos that have gone viral that have got well over 2 million views.
Right, yeah.
And it appears to be more than just talk.
Because we are talking to members of the DOJ and members of the Trump cabinet. So that's the reason I'm driving today through numerous states to get up there.
As Taylor documents his travels.
You can see I'm sitting in front of the White House. I've been here since Monday. I've had over a dozen in-person meetings.
Including with photos.
Had some meetings with people from Justice yesterday. Walking to another meeting now.
Here last October, posing outside the Justice Department with Joe Flynn, the brother of former Army General Mike Flynn. There was also a person whose identity he said he needed to hide. Here inside D.C. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro's office with Joe Flynn and Arizona election denier and state senator Mark Fincham.
And we talk to them pretty much almost every day, including on the weekends.
And here in a recent podcast with QAnon conspiracy theorist Nino Rodriguez, Taylor dropped another name.
So the people that you're talking to in Washington, D.C., they're very prominent people, right? You're talking to some very powerful officials about this. You're getting your work in front of the right people.
Had a nice meeting with Ed Martin the other day and discussed a lot of stuff.
This is a photo that Taylor posted at the end of January with Ed Martin at what he says was a meeting in D.C. Martin was Donald Trump's so-called weaponization czar, charged with investigating primarily Democrats, when, according to CNN, he was recently demoted after a Justice Department review found he had improperly leaked grand jury material.
We carry it to the top to people like Ed Martin. Ed Martin's busting his ass.
We cannot say for sure what, if anything, that controversy has to do with Sean Taylor, but here in this December podcast with QAnon conspiracy theorist Alfredo Luna, Taylor claimed to have inside knowledge about grand jury investigations.
Because we're ready for some of these asshats to go to prison.
I can't wait.
It's coming. And I've literally held some of the indictments in my hand while I was in D.C.
And that's where the subpoenas come in to see how the money is getting into these mortgages.
He made similar claims to inside knowledge here in another QAnon podcast with MAGA candidate for Congress Christine Bish, who has accused Democrat Adam Schiff of mortgage fraud.
I can't comment a lot on that. That's being worked on. I know that for a fact.
We'd like to talk to you about some of your conspiracy theories.
All right, well, have a good day.
This comes almost 2 years after our investigation first raised questions about Taylor's history of seemingly far-fetched conspiracy theories. Here's one about Al Gore.
That was the reason he became vice president.
Because he was trafficking drugs and kids back then? No kidding.
Because he was involved in it. His family was involved in it. They were steeped in it for generations.
Taylor has also expressed beliefs in conspiracies about a secret cabal of evil Jews who are pulling the strings of society, but who are about to be revealed.
Once that happens and the world sees it, it's done. It's over. And they can't hide anymore.
Recently, he even agreed with the discredited idea that 9/11 was a secret U.S. government plot.
One of the reasons 9/11 happened is to introduce the Patriot Act and have them go after the common citizen, the average citizen. That was the whole reason for that. One of the reasons.
Yes.
And here we are living through it today. So.
In September 24, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation raided Taylor's home, as well as the Millersville Police Department, as part of an investigation into possible misuse of government data. Taylor has recently claimed that was all orchestrated by former Trump special prosecutor Jack Smith.
You have to remember, we're we the people. We the people are the army.
As for his work with the Trump administration, Taylor claims the results are going to be monumental.
But you can say with all confidence that a storm is coming, and my audience better be ready.
Oh, it's coming.
We reached out to Sean Taylor's attorney to get his response, but we never heard back. It is interesting to note that about the time that Ed Martin was demoted, Sean Taylor started making his pleas directly to President Trump. Now, what that means, if anything, though, would be pure speculation.
Okay, well more than a year ago, Sean Taylor's home, the Millersville PD, were raided. What's the latest on that investigation?
Well, as you might expect, the TBI is not saying, but a witness who was interviewed by agents told me that from what he was told, the TBI is having trouble getting into Mr. Taylor's electronics, his computers, which would suggest that he is also probably not making it easy, not cooperating.
Right. I know you'll stay on it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Phil.
And we want to be transparent and let you know that Mr. Taylor and others involved in the Millersville controversies have filed lawsuits against Phil and our parent company, Scripps Media, claiming we have misrepresented Taylor's views, accusing Phil of being involved in, quote, an ongoing criminal conspiracy. Needless to say, News Channel 5 disputes those claims and is working to ask a court to dismiss the lawsuits as soon as possible.